This PowerPoint is going to cover the last nutrient, which is water, and then some other common beverages that people drink. Most of our body is made up of water. In fact, about 60% of what we weigh is water. So if we stood on a scale and it would say a person weighed 200 pounds, 120 pounds of that would be water. And here on this slide, you can see all the different functions that water plays in the body. It's one of the most vital nutrients that we could intake, and it does regulate our body temperature. And every reaction that occurs in the body, whether we're changing food into energy or our immune system is healing itself, it all has to occur in water. So it's essential that we drink enough throughout the day. So the question is, how much should we be drinking? And here you can measure it in ounces, cups, or liters. But we need about 13 cups of water per day. That would equate to 3 liters or 104 ounces. Now, if we were to buy those water bottles that are sold at grocery stores that come in a big pack of 24, and usually you get 24 water bottles for maybe about $3, that would be about 6 of those bottles of water per day. That's the minimum amount we should be drinking. However, if you are doing extreme exercise or sports, or if it's hot and humid outside, we actually need more water. Pregnant people would need more water, and individuals who are sick actually need a little bit more water. So what you see on this slide is the minimum, and if anything else occurs that would dehydrate a person, we need to actually up that. Here's another slide that's just going to show you the differentiation between men and females. And on this slide, it's saying men would need a little bit more, probably because they have more muscle mass and also larger body mass. But being said, you might think to yourself, well, I'm not drinking 10 or 13 glasses of water a day. But realize that we also get a lot of water from the foods we eat. In fact, most of the produce that we eat, fruits and vegetables, is entirely water. The next few slides will show you that. Here's just the content of water in some common foods that we eat, the fruits and vegetables being up to 96% water. Also, meat has half of it being about water. The only thing that we're eating that doesn't have a lot would be the nuts and seeds, and also probably those processed foods. They're little water content like chips and cookies and things like that. And if you wanted to actually see how much water is in the fruits and vegetables we eat, you could check out this slide. Cucumber is the winner at 96% of that product, food product being water. But most of our fruits and vegetables are around 90% of that food product being water. In order to stay hydrated, we need not only water, but also to consume electrolytes. And on this slide, you could see the various names of electrolytes that we need. They manage our fluid balance in the body. So how much water is staying in the body versus how much water is leaving the body. 2 electrolytes that I want to comment are sodium and potassium, and they're kind of opposite each other. The sodium is going to actually help us hold water in the body. So it is important that we consume sodium on a daily basis so that the water we're drinking could actually be held and used. But we can't consume too much. The most sodium that most Americans should get is about 1,500 milligrams a day. If we consumed more than the recommended amounts that you see there, then we would actually be bloated and we would be holding too much water. And that could be problems with heart disease and high blood pressure. So the most sodium that a person should be consuming in a day is about 1,500 milligrams. You do see a higher end of 2,300 there, but that's for people without disease, without risk of any cardiovascular or diabetes or any obesity. Now, opposite sodium, what I want to pause now and tell you that where we get our sodium is our table salts and foods that are processed with salt added to it. But opposite of that is our potassium, and that electrolyte actually helps water leave the body so that we're not bloated and we don't have excess water in the body. Well, our potassium comes from fruits and vegetables. So we need to make sure that we're balanced. Potassium, we need about 4,700 milligrams a day, and with the sodium, we need to balance that out. Problem is, a lot of people are eating processed foods and eating out at fast food places and burgers and fries and chips, and that all comes with sodium. Now, if they're eating out and they're not consuming fruits and vegetables, it's going to become very problematic. The fruits and vegetables are the primary intake of potassium that humans get. So if they're not eating fruits and vegetables and they're eating out a lot and eating processed food a lot, they're going to have a way over balance of sodium and not enough potassium, and their body's going to hold too much water weight. That will increase their blood pressure, that will increase their weight, that will increase risk of various chronic diseases. And just as a preview to our fast food topic that's coming later in this semester, if we ate out one meal at a fast food place, say McDonald's or TGI Fridays or something to that effect, we could get up to 3,000 milligrams of sodium in one meal. Having that without having the balance of fruits and vegetables that contain the potassium is going to have a high risk for problems with our health. We're going to go over the following beverages and what is contained in them so that we know if we're drinking a particular beverage, what are we actually putting into the body. When we're drinking plain water, whether that be tap water or bottled water, there's actually a little bit more than just water as a nutrient in there. In tap water, they do add some minerals, and it's listed on here what minerals are added to the tap water by the government. And then also with bottled water or spring water, minerals or vitamins could be added to that. So it's important you read labels. The source of what I have for tap water is listed on this slide. You could copy and paste that into a browser for more information. But what's found in our water supply has become a controversy lately, and you may want to investigate that in your flyer that you're going to create for this class. But some people are worried about contaminants or fluoride being in the water supply system, and you could read up more on that in your textbook and also do some investigating on Google with that. So sports drinks is next, and when we drink a sport drink like Powerade or Gatorade, what we find in that beverage is water, carbohydrates, and electrolytes. There could also be some flavoring or dye added to it. Let's start with the carbohydrates in there. There's a small amount of carbohydrates added to a sport drink for two reasons. Number one, if we have a tiny bit of sugar in water, it actually increases the speed of absorption. So we'd get the water into the body faster than if we just drink plain water. The second reason carbohydrates are added to a sport drink is to replenish our supply of energy by giving the body more carbohydrates to use for fuel if we were participating in a sport or exercise. So there's two reasons that carbohydrates are added to the sport drink: to increase water absorption speed and also to give us more energy. Electrolytes are also added to a sport drink. That will help the human body absorb the water and then keep it in the body so it's just not urinated out. So there's going to be some sodium that we could utilize to keep the water in the body. There'll probably be potassium as well, so that once that water is used, we can also get rid of it as well and we're not bloated. There's all different kind of sport drinks right now. There's actually some sport drinks that are being sold that are just water and electrolytes by the Gatorade company. So you have to read the labels again to see if sugar is in it or not. There's only two reasons to drink a sport drink, and that's to replenish water or to replenish muscle glycogen. If you've worked out past 30 or 40 minutes and you're still going to perform an exercise, you may need that added carbohydrate in the system to fuel the body. If a person is not dehydrated and if they don't need more carbs, there's really no reason to be drinking a sport drink. So you have to think to yourself, is this a good option for me? Do I need to increase the speed of water absorption? Do I need to rehydrate, or do I need more sugar before deciding on if you're going to drink a sport drink or not? So first I'm going to tell you what's in soda, and then I'm going to tell you why it's bad to eat. In fact, I have two evil foods that I think of when I'm teaching nutrition, one of them being soda and the other one being trans fat or hydrogenated oil, which we've already learned about. But within a bottle of soda, we have water. We have an extremely high percentage of carbohydrates. It's usually at least 11% of the beverage being carbohydrate, if not more. We do have some added acid. We have carbonation. Many of them have caffeine, flavors, or dyes. So just by seeing what's in the product, we know that it's a lot of sugar and it's water, and then there's a lot of artificial chemicals added to that. And the combination of that is not going to be healthy for the body. Here you can see the many negative health side effects when consuming soda, and this could even be with one beverage per day. I'm not going to read them all to you, but you could read through the list. My three greatest concerns with soda are obesity, diabetes, and there's a study that shows that increasing risk of diabetes even with one beverage per day of soda. And a new thing coming out is kidney damage and liver damage. So organ damage from the soda, and many people are coming down with cirrhosis later in life. Even though we usually connotate that disease with alcohol, we're actually finding it in soda drinkers as well. So you can see the many problems here, but perhaps obesity being the greatest one, because the increase in risk of obesity causes more heart disease, more cancer, more diabetes, and many other chronic problems. Diet soda is actually worse than regular soda to drink. At least in regular soda, we have real sugar, but the problem with diet soda is it's artificial sugar. And artificial sugar is nothing but chemicals, and it's very harmful to the human body. People that are drinking soda, even if it's just 1 can per day, whether it's regular or diet, have an increased risk, 26% increased risk of diabetes, 20% increased risk of heart attack, 75% greater risk of gout. There has been incidents of research linking cancers with soda. Like I said earlier, liver and kidney diseases. So we have evidence that drinking soda, even a minimal amount, will cause a great increase in disease. Here are some references if you want to learn more about it. But one thing I want to mention to you right now is the media and the advertising would like us to think that it's normal and it's common that people drink soda, but in all reality, it's not a very healthy thing to do to the human body. In fact, it's probably one of the greatest causes of obesity in our country right now. We have about 70% of Americans obese or overweight. A lot of that is attributed to what type of beverages they drink. The human body really only needs water, and we could get electrolytes from the foods we eat. We do not have to drink our electrolytes from sport drink. But if we had a healthy diet, plus we're drinking, 10 to 13 glasses of water per day, that would be the best scenario for health. We really don't need anything outside of the water. But media likes to tell us that it's common and everybody is drinking soda and everybody is drinking beer or alcohol. And we'll learn more about that later in our semester. But what I'd like to say right now is the human body, the best beverage would be just plain water. Lots of juices and fruit juices are being sold in grocery stores as well. There's vast differences in what's contained in those beverages. All of them will contain water and some amount of sugar, unless it's a sugar-free product, in which case it's artificial sugar, which actually is worse than real sugar for our health. But you're going to have to read labels. Some of them could have benefit to the human body if we drank it, and some of them are basically nothing but a ton of sugar and water, with some dyes even. If a person wanted to drink real fruit juice that came from a real piece of fruit, like orange juice or apple juice, and we know for certain that it came from real fruit, I have no problem with that being 1 serving of fruit per day if it was only 8 ounces and one serving was drank. We could get a lot of vitamins and minerals from that. In fact, I give my kids perhaps 1 glass of orange juice per day on certain days, because it has such a high amount of vitamins and minerals. Not only in the oranges it came from, but some of it's fortified as well. Now, that in contrast to something like Hawaiian Punch, which is just sugar and water, and there's no vitamins and minerals in that. So we really have to read labels. We have to read the ingredient list to know what we're putting into our body. With vitamins, vitamin waters, again, there's a ton of different kind of vitamin waters on the market. They will contain water. Some of them contain carbohydrates, and then they will have various amounts of vitamins and minerals. What I could say to you is if it is a vitamin and mineral that we've talked about, such as vitamin A, B, C, D, E, any of the minerals that we've talked about, then it may have some value, just being that it was fortified into the product. But don't be fooled by a supplement being added to water that it's actually going to make us healthier. So if you see something with ginseng added to it, or something like creatine added to it, or something added to it that's not a real vitamin or mineral that we've discussed, it probably has no benefit, and it just could be a marketing trick to try to get you to buy the beverage. But again, if we drank plain water and we had a healthy diet that consisted of up to 10 servings of fruit and vegetables per day, those fruit and vegetables would give us all the vitamins and minerals we needed. We're probably getting sodium from some type of source like crackers or bread or cereal. So we would have enough of that. We would have more than enough vitamins and minerals that are the electrolytes in the human body that we wouldn't need extra. We're moving on to energy drinks, and what I can say to you right now is the marketers of the companies that make these are flat out lying to you on the cans. They're not regulated by the FDA. They're not regulated by any overseeing agency. So the people that are making them could put anything they want on the label. And what they're putting is that it's going to give you more energy. It's going to make you feel better, and you're going to have perhaps better performance. But in all reality, none of that is true. And if we look into what's actually in the beverage, which we'll do on the next slide, we're going to see that it's nothing more than water and drugs. So what's in an energy drink? Water, lots of sugar, B vitamins, because B vitamins are supposed to help you transform carbohydrates into energy. So they're giving you B vitamins to make you think that you're getting more energy. A lot of stimulant. Usually it's caffeine, or it's something that has caffeine with a weird name, but lots of caffeine, which is a stimulant drug that makes you feel more alert, but it really doesn't give you more energy. And then sometimes they add amino acids to make you think that your muscles might be growing bigger and so forth. But basically it's water, sugar, and caffeine. So in conclusion, most of the beverages that we drink should be water. It's okay to do like 1 or 2 glasses of fruit juice per day if it comes from real fruit. But we need to avoid the extra calories that come with sugar or vitamin water or sport drink or energy drinks. We need to avoid those extra calories and the extra simple carbohydrates that are coming from them, because it will increase the risk of being overweight, perhaps obese. I want you all to copy this URL into a new browser, or you could click on the link in the learning module. It's about 3-minute movie about soda and the damages that it does. It's pretty cute. It's a cartoon. It's a powerful message about the dangers of drinking soda.